Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So today I want to talk about why I traded in my Toyota Tacoma for a Toyota Tundra. Let's get to it. All right, so this bad boy right here is the 2019 Toyota Tundra. This is the SR5 TRD off-road variant, 5.7 liter V8, and not supercharged, not yet, but it will be if All American Prepper gets his hands on it. And what else do we got in here? We got a 3-inch lift. Like I said, this is the off-road variant, so we got Bilstein shocks on there. We got some running boards. We got the BF Goodrich KO2 tires, off-road tires. Marshall. So it's not the limited version. It's not the 1794. It's not the TRD Pro. But because it was a custom build and I got a really good deal on this, really good deal on the trade-in. That's one great thing about Toyotas, is that they have a really high trade-in value. So I'm not going to go into all the specifics of that, but I got a really good deal on this bad boy right here. So because there was a lot of customized features on here, it pretty much is a limited without the limited branding. And it also has a lot of features of the TRD Pro without the TRD Pro branding. And really the TRD Pro, I think they wanted an extra 15 grand for some Fox shocks, a hood scoop that didn't do anything. And what else did they have on there? I believe, yeah, there's the decals, the indented decal. I believe they had some TRD off-road skid plates, which I may actually put on this one. So that was cool. But all in all, I didn't think it was that worth it. Why not get something which, you know, it already has a 3-inch lift. It's the perfect amount of lift. It's not too excessive. It's a functional amount of lift because it's going to give you nice high clearance. I also have a bed step on there, which I put on myself, and that took a bit of swearing and cursing, but I got it done, so I'm proud of myself for that. And there's a lot of things I have in store for this truck if I can get some sponsorships coming in. I wanted to get a bed slide on there. Obviously, I want to get some kind of light bar. I want to get a roof rack system. The bumper and the winch is going to be going in pretty soon. What else am I going to do? I'm going to Linux the running boards. So nice Linux powder coated finish. I might even do a rear bumper modification, put an awning up, probably do some 360 camera business, stuff like that. I'm going to go all out on this truck. And like I said, if All American Prepper has its way, I might even put a supercharger in there to give us 30–40%, you know, more speed, acceleration, more horsepower. It does have the tow package, all of that. So it's basically ready to go. Now, the reason why I didn't do all the mods to the Tacoma is because I kind of had a sense that I would be going this way someday anyways. I have a family, of course, 2 kids, 2 dogs. And the Tacoma just wasn't cutting it in terms of space. It had a very small cab. This is the Crew Max version. So let's just take a little walk around here, and I'm gonna tell you the reasons why I went with a Tundra over a Taco. Let's get to it. All right, so one of the main reasons is the size of the cab. It is massive. It really does feel more like a minivan in terms of how much space you get in here. And I don't know if the camera is going to do it justice or not. It's probably quite messy right now because it is what it is. The rear door is even bigger than the front door. So it is gigantic. All right, so this is one of the main reasons why I bought this truck, because there's just so much space in here. I mean, I got car seats in here right now, but you know, I mean, you can have dogs, you can have kids, you can have it all back here. The only downside is that underneath the seat, there's no storage space, which is kind of weird. It seems like it's some kind of hollow space, but it's covered. So I'm gonna see if I can modify that somehow, because that's kind of annoying that there's no storage space under the back seat. I wanted to put a box in there for stuff, so if you know what I mean. But as is, I tell you, man, it's just a huge space back here. You can't really tell, but this is probably the biggest cab in its class. It's so big, I can't even reach backwards to get something from the kids if they're not supposed to be playing it, or if I just want to strangle them. It's going to be impossible now, so they're out of touch in here, unfortunately. But man, it's so nice to have all this space in the interior. It really, you can do a lot more with it. So the next reason why I switched over is because the box size on the Tundra is much bigger. Even though this one is, I think it's 4 inches shorter, 5 inches actually shorter than the Tacoma. I had the 6-foot long bed, which is, you know, really a medium-sized bed for a truck. So this has a shorter bed, but it has much deeper volume. I mean, I cannot even, you know, get my hand over there to touch the bottom. And it also is much wider. I believe it's like 10 inches wider. So that makes for a lot more volume for hauling gear. So like I said, in spite of the fact that it's 6 inches shorter, there's just so much more space in there for stuff. So I'm gonna be able to put an auxiliary fuel tank in. I couldn't do that with the Tacoma. It kind of jived with the Diamondback tonneau cover. I'll be able to do that in this one. I'm gonna put a bed slide system in there. What else am I gonna do? I already have a swing case on there. So right now, like I said, the truck's a mess, but I did add a swing case to it. It's pretty handy. Just pull that and this thing pops up. It's a locking case, a few little compartments within there. And yeah, I had the truck bed Linux or Linux, I can't remember. I think it's Linux. But yeah, so that's, you know, that's nice. And it also has the bed mat in there also, so lots of protection. And I got the Diamondback on there. We're gonna be installing a GUN rack, some LED lights, and I'm also gonna try to use this hollow space, so you can see here, between the trusses of the Diamondback for some other finer storage. So I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do that yet, but I'll probably just end up, you know, bolting some kind of little metal compartments, metal trays or something like that, so that I can put up there, because that is kind of wasted space up there. So this truck also came with these wheel well protectors, which is pretty important. The Tacoma had these built in already. We got the fuel wheels, like I said, the BF Goodrich KO2 tires, so it already had the tires, so that was just another expense I wouldn't have had to do aftermarket, so to speak. And has the blue Bilstein shocks back there. So this thing is ready for off-road, as the name indicates. And my Tacoma was a sport version. So this one, a bit more capable, a little bit more capable, but it has a wider wheelbase. It's not as narrow, so I'm not gonna be able to go down those quad trails like I was with the Tacoma, at least not without destroying the, the side of the truck. Wheel well protectors, especially with tires like these, because these tires with the deep grooves and the aggressive tread, they throw up rocks like crazy, and they will destroy the underside of your truck. I'm already seeing a lot of dents on the wheel well protector, so yeah, it's nice to have these. I think it's worth it if you're doing a lot of driving on gravel. All right, so one of the other good things about the Tundra is the increased towing capacity, slightly increased payload, but not much. It can tow 10,200 pounds, which is quite a bit compared to the Tacoma, which could only do 6,800 pounds. And a Tacoma 6,800 pounds, from what I read, may not be exactly as advertised, even though legally, you know, if they say it can tow 6,800 pounds, it has to. But a lot of the stuff I read, you know, a lot of people were saying, you know, you shouldn't tow over 4,500 if you're going in mountainous terrain with a lot of elevation shifts and stuff like that. So I'm a lot more confident in this V8 5.7 liter 386 horsepower, and has all the towing hookups here, all that stuff. Really easy to deal with. Backup camera, of course, which is pretty standard. One thing about the Tundra is there's not a lot of bells and whistles on the inside. It is a bit of a dated interior, but that's something I don't really care about. In terms of the minimalism of the interior, I like that. And, you know, I may be able to make some modifications to upgrade it from a technological standpoint in the future anyways, so I'm not too concerned about that. And this bumper right now, it actually has a black wrap. It has a black delete, so I wanted to get rid of the chrome. I just don't like the chrome look. It just kind of looks, I don't know, just looks bad. And I know it was an all-American prepper moment that I had. Just didn't want that chrome on there. It just, I don't know, to me, just didn't match with the rest of the truck. It's not really off-road. I really like the cement gray and how it contrasts with the black, so that's what we're going with. This bumper may be getting replaced. I have a whole list of stuff that I'd like to get on here that I'd like to try to get sponsored for, but you know, we'll see if it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not a big deal. There is parking sensors around it. There is some lane assist features, but it's really, I think it's level 1 self-driving, so there's no real self-driving capability here. There is a radar feature on the cruise control, which will prevent you from hitting the person in front of you if you are in cruise, so that's handy. So another reason why I went with the Tundra is because of the reliability. All the statistics indicate that Toyotas make the most reliable vehicles out there on the road. So it is going to be a Toyota until some company puts out an electric truck. That's going to be the next vehicle for me, most likely is going to be electric, because I've just reasoned that electric is probably going to be the way to go. In spite of the fact that I live in a cold climate, I'm sure by then they're going to figure out some way to make it work in this environment. And I still do see people driving Teslas around in the wintertime. As long as you got a garage to park it in, for the most part, you're going to be all right. So unfortunately, it's not a diesel engine. I know some people, you know, like it because they have the ability to be multi-fuel engines. Apparently nowadays with the diesel engines, it's a little harder to do that with, but I don't know much about that. But I think this is going to be my last combustion engine vehicle anyways, like I said. So in my opinion, gasoline, it's ubiquitous, it's everywhere. And speaking of gasoline, so the fuel tank capacity on my Taco, I believe it was 77 liters or something chintzy like that. This is 38 gallons, so almost 143 liters. So darn near twice, well, not quite twice, but almost twice the capacity. Now, obviously, it's a V8. It's going to be burning a lot more gasoline, but you're still going to get a lot more range out of this thing than you would with a Tacoma. So generally speaking, I would say this is between 10 and 20% harder on gas than the Taco, but you're getting that almost 90% increase in fuel tank capacity. So you're getting a lot more range if you have to go somewhere. For preparedness, that's a big deal. And like I say, I'll probably add an auxiliary fuel tank in here, bump that up another 20, 30 gallons if possible. So that's gonna give me a lot more range. I'd like to get the range to 1,000 kilometers. Right now, I would say it's probably close to that as is, depending on how you drive. If you're driving at 90 and you're not doing 120 or 130 kilometers an hour, that is, then you're gonna get a lot better gas mileage. So another really cool feature about this truck is that the back window rolls down. So, you know, I mean, if I had to haul something that's really long and the truck bed, you know, I didn't want it hanging over the edge, or if I had to have it hanging over the edge, but it was still long and I wanted to put some of that in the cab, I can do that. So that's pretty cool. Now, one thing that does kind of suck about this truck compared to the Tacoma is there is no factory roof rack. And I actually like the look of the Tacoma roof rack. It was sleek, it was very low profile. So I'm gonna have to put some sort of aftermarket roof rack up here, which that's all right too, because you know, it's gonna be more capable if you do aftermarket. It's gonna require drilling, unfortunately. I'm not too into the Thule type roof racks that just have the 2 bars to go over. I'd rather get something custom, do it right, and something which is gonna give me large cargo carrying capacity up here, put a few, you know, gas canisters, extra tires, something like that, whatever, you know, I decide to put up here. The other thing I could potentially do with this space is mount a couple solar panels. I got enough space up here for 2, possibly 300 watts of panels. It's fairly large. I don't think you can really see it on the camera how big it is, but a lot of space in here. So, you know, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do yet. There is this weather stripping here, so if you do install the roof rack, that's where it's going to be bolted onto. So, you know, we'll see. Right now, the ones that I'm looking at, I believe I'm looking at some stuff from Rhino Rack, and there's another company, I can't quite remember exactly what it's called off the top of my head. I'll write it on the screen, but they look pretty cool. A lot of them are very high profile and they stick out, and because this is a full-size truck, it just looks a little weird to have a roof rack on it if you don't have the back truck box to go all the way. And at some point, maybe that's something I'll do, but right now we're sporting the Diamondback, so it is what it is. Of course, no vehicle would be complete without the Diamondback. Got the gas springs on there, really powerful gas springs. I mean, it just shoots right up. This thing 1,600 pounds. You could put a quad on here. You could do all sorts of stuff with the Diamondback HG tonneau cover. You could modify it. The possibilities are endless. And, you know, I'm gonna keep this on here for now. One thing I found that I missed almost immediately was the security of having a Diamondback HD tonneau cover on here. This truck actually came with a tonneau cover, a pretty nice Toyota stock tonneau cover, which was fairly functional, not as functional as this one, but it was decent, but it wasn't nearly as secure. This thing, I put stuff in here, I know it's going to be safe enough, at least from a smash and grab, definitely from a smash and grab, but it's even going to take a bit more time for a dedicated criminal to want to get into it. So for that reason, sticking with the Diamondback for now until I can find potentially a better system for the back of the truck here. But it's basically like having a flat deck on top of your truck box. So I do have that bed step, which really comes in handy for accessing the stuff that's on top of the HD tonneau cover. And Diamondback has made quite a few improvements since the original tonneau cover that I reviewed for them probably 3 years ago, to be exact, right now on the Tacoma. They're not really that popular in Canada yet. If you want to get one of these, check out the link in the description below. There's also a cross bin box in here for storage of gear that I'm going to modify a little bit. What I'd like to possibly do with the interior here is get one of the sidewall rack systems so I can, you know, get my axes put on there, you know, get some survival implements put on there. I have the Bugout bag in the back here. So I'm hoping you guys can give me some ideas and we can build the ultimate prepper vehicle together. It's not going to be very gray man in the end, but actually it will be for where I live, because everybody has a full-size pickup truck where I live. The color, I think it's probably one of the best colors you can get. Cement, it's one of the coolest looking colors anyways. The contrast is pretty cool, and of course it's as gray as it gets. So yeah, anyways, let me know if you have any ideas. One of the first things I'm going to do is do the bumper and the winch. That's already planned, that's already booked. But the next thing is the roof rack. And if you have any ideas for a decent roof rack for the Tundra, please post it in the comment section below. And if you have any other ideas for modifications, be it the bumper mods or just anything, just let me know in the comment section. Oh, yes, and should I supercharge the Tundra? Yes or no? Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out. The best way to support this YouTube channel is to support yourself by gearing up through CanadianPreparedness.com or BugoutRoll.ca. Premium quality gear at the best possible price using the incredibly secure and easy to use Shopify platform. We offer free shipping to the United States for orders over $200 USD and free shipping to Canada over $75. So support the channel by supporting yourself.